we have the honor to welcome Ralph Overbeck. He's the curator at Casale Flaminia. Ralph is an international pioneer in artificial intelligence applied to smart cities with active multi-million-dollar ROI use cases in pollution control and environmental impact. Now based in Rome, Ralph is championing smart travel with the arts community, establishing a boutique hotel startup business of a privately owned 17th century country house, Casale Flaminia. We have the links in his bio, so check, because it's a really amazing place. It's set in Spoleto, city of art and culture, predating Rome. Host and the curator of at Casale Flaminia, aiming to provide an ideal oasis for travelers and open call for artists in residence with focus on visual arts, literature and poetry. Founder of SIBI.LIFE, Small Investors in Big Ideas, an international community of grassroots investors providing the financial backing and mentorship, springboarding young entrepreneurs and people with big ideas into new viable ventures using small equity stake and pay forward instruments. So let's hear Ralph Overbeck.
Hello, my name is Ralph Overbeck. On behalf of Casale Flaminia, I would first like to extend our congratulations from Italy to Vitor's team in Portugal for hosting this incredible event in this crazy year of 2020. So thank you for having us, muito obrigado, and giving me the opportunity to share some of the ideas around the future of traveling to smart destinations. So introducing Casale Flaminia, we are a boutique startup hotel on the ancient Via Flaminia route, hence the name Casale Flaminia. We are in the center of Italy, and our aim is to provide an oasis for travelers from all walks of life. Within the first 2 years of operation, we have achieved the Traveler's Choice Award of TripAdvisor and Booking.com Review Awards. So, as the saying goes in hospitality, we live and die by ratings and reviews. So in this sense, it has given us a motivational boost, especially steering through the pandemic. Now, back in 2017, the time where before we were all zoomed out, I had an opportunity to meet Vitor in Nice at the TM Forum, and I always say there is an opportunity, there is a reason why people show up in your life. So in case of Vitor, we had a turning point a year later with my partner Francesca Romana D'Alessandro, when we set up Casale Flaminia. So we asked ourselves a key question, and we would not have asked the question had it not been for Vitor. How can we attract smart travelers and promote Spoleto as a smart destination? So I remember I, at the time, jumped the gun. I said to Francesca, I know how to do this. We're going to build an infinity pool overlooking the Umbrian rolling hills, spa facilities. This would have required quite a bit of capital investment, money which we for sure didn't have. So eventually we had our eureka moment, and our eureka moment was reaching out to the arts community. So today we're running residencies for artists and writers with Melissa Felix heading up our writing faculty, and Adi Atassi, Maestro Adi, curating our art residencies. Together we launched Casale Flaminia Smart Residencies, so the emphasis is on art, curated with focus on visual arts, literature and poetry. And towards the end I will share some co-creations. I would like to keep my talk to 20 minutes. Now, reflecting on the conference and the contributions over the last 2 days and this morning, I really feel that we're all sitting in the same boat. We're all looking to anticipate, we're looking to adapt, to see what is around the corner, to turn the pandemic into opportunities, enhancing the traveling experience. So this has been really encouraging. And for us as a small boutique hotel, I would like to share some of the predictions of Booking.com, which is based on a survey which was commissioned among 22,000 travelers across 29 markets, and with insights also derived from their 180 million or so verified guest reviews. The objective, the aim of the survey is to see what lies in the year ahead and beyond. So the key findings. So one of the key findings is the rise of the second city traveler. Now this is really interesting for us here in Spoleto. Spoleto is not a first city. We're not Venice, we're not Florence, we're not Rome. However, as a medieval town predating Rome, and we are UNESCO listed, it's an interesting fact. The second city is a very interesting aspect. So looking at the response of the travelers, 54% of the global travelers want to play a part in reducing over-tourism. And furthermore, 51% state that they would change their original destination for a lesser known but similar alternative. So, Spoleto predating Rome. If they knew it would leave less of an impact. So not just in terms of over-tourism, also in terms of environmental impact. Now we can drill down in the survey. So Italy is in line with the average, 53%. With our Japanese tourists, well below the average, 23%. So it looks like our Japanese tourists are still looking for the popular landmark sites, where in contrast China is well above average. So our Chinese tourists are considering the second city exploration. Now, with any predictive modeling, having worked in the industry, there's always a caveat. My philosophy has always been that from the outset, data is a poor model of reality, and this is particularly true in surveys. What we say is not necessarily what we do. We might say one thing in a survey and then actually do something completely different. So here it is important to follow through on the survey. And what I can share with you is that here at Casale Flaminia, with our 450 guests, in which we have welcomed in 2019 and 2020, remember we're still in startup mode, we have observed a shift in traveling behavior. So our guests are looking for a deeper connection with the people and places they visit. Now, with the social distancing, let's look at people and take the cultural aspect as a proxy. And so travel as the locals do is an important aspect of second city exploration. The Italians know that when they travel to Umbria, they will have the same experience like, for example, the Americans who are traveling to Tuscany. So it's a good form of escaping from over-tourism. During the summer, we had Rita and Asco visiting us during the honeymoon. Now I would say honeymoon, Venice, Spoleto, Venice, Spoleto. I think I would choose Venice as a honeymoon destination. So this is a good indicator for second city exploration. Rita had a wonderful time here, and Asko had a wonderful time here. They might be an outlier, but still, I think it's a nice anecdote. Now, what we're clearly seeing, and this is also in line with the Booking.com survey, is that our guests are now taking things slow. So instead of experiencing the constant fear of missing out, the acronym FOMO, what we're seeing in 2020, so for example, when we reopened, we had guests from Belgium booking for 1 week, I think was even more, 10 days. We had guests from Germany, a couple from Germany. And so what they're now doing is they're booking longer stays, checking into a safe bubble, and then use Casale Flaminia as a base to explore the surrounding. Whereas in the previous year, what we had were a lot of last-minute bookings, one-night stays, hopping from one place, checking in, checking out, to another place, checking in, checking out. You know, the constant fear of missing out. And this is not what we're seeing in 2020. Now, deeper connection with nature and well-being is what we're seeing. So here we're partnering with Flow Essentials, run by Victoria Groom, who has been supporting us to create seasonal signature scents using natural oils in a diffuser. So during the pandemic, this has made a real difference to the well-being of our guests. So it has enabled them, or it's enabling them to get settled into a safe bubble. Beyond the implementation of COVID protocol for the protection of our staff and our guests, it helps our guests incrementally to release anxiety during our difficult time. They sleep better. So what we're seeing, when I mean sleep better, they sleep longer. So what we're seeing is that in 2020 we serve breakfast now later compared to 1919, and overall there is more positive energy. It feels like you're checking into a safe environment, and so the natural oils are really helping us. Now, smart destinations. What should we look out for smart destinations? Now, I would say that smart destinations have smart citizens. That's the first thing to look out for. So what I mean by that is community resilience in synergy with tourism. And here we have a shining example of Moreno, citizen of Spoleto, community leader. And when the tourist office was closed due to the pandemic, Moreno offered tourist information, and while when we still had guests tourists visiting Spoleto. Now, it goes without saying that smart destinations have smart infrastructure. And what I'd like to share here is the infrastructure in Spoleto. So we have the modern innovation of mechanized pedestrian network, 3 car parks, and then we have a network into the historical part, under and above ground. And what is really nice is that modern technology then blends into the historical architecture of Spoleto. Smart destinations have smart festivals. So the Spoleto Festival was founded by Giancarlo Minotti in 1958. It has transformed Spoleto, revived the economy during the depression, not just financially, also the cultural, the cultural aspect of Spoleto. And to feel the vibe of the festival, what we can do is we can go onto the website. I can spend hours on the website, looking at, exploring the archive over the last 60 plus years. And you can really get a sense of the diversity of the festival. So here, smart destinations have resilient, diverse communities. Now, with any successful venture, especially when it's run for non-profit, so the Menotti family have run the festival over many years as a non-profit organization, and there were always attempts to sabotage the festival. It's just like with privatization. You defund, then you find ways not to make it work, and then eventually you hand it over to private capital. And and here we had escalation in 2007. So the city mayor and the local politicians tried to get their hands onto the festival to run it for profit. The church collaborated. I suspect they had different motivation. Maybe the festival pushed some of the boundaries of what would be socially acceptable to the Catholic Church. However, when the bishop with his cardinals left the town, and he left the church bells ringing during the final performance, his attempt to sabotage the festival, it turns out that the church bells came in at the right tempo, at the right note, and it beautifully enhanced the performance. So this is an example of art always prevails. Now, fast forwarding 10 years, here is a promotional video clip. So, if the mafia couldn't kill the festival, what about the pandemic? We've seen many international festivals were cancelled due to the pandemic. Now, in case of the Spoleto festival here in 2019, already hyping up Arrivederci al 2020, see you in 2020. And we had, of course, no idea what was going to come around the corner hitting us. And in 2020, the festival continued. So here you can see in summer 2019 the Roman Theatre in Spoleto, and you can see in summer 2020 during the pandemic. So the festival usually happens in the first 2 weeks in July. Well, actually, I think this has always been the case. But this year it was moved to 2 consecutive weekends. So it was a lighter version of the festival. And usually we have to bring our pillows. Here the pillows were provided, numbered to maintain social distancing. When the tickets went on sale, there was one rule: maximum 2 tickets per household. So you could still go with your friend, you can go as a couple. So this still maintained the intimacy, enjoying the festival as a couple. And the COVID protocol, the implementation of the COVID protocol, it was a strict COVID protocol, didn't kill the magic. So Francesca and I, we were fortunate to go to the festival this year and also in the previous year, and it was just as magical as last year. I would say there was even, there was some magic which, I can only define, well, I can't really put it in words. I think it's the community solidarity. It just created this atmosphere, and which was just, I can't describe it in words. So this takes us back to Casale Flaminia smart residencies. So here I would like to acknowledge our artist community. It turns out that building those the infinity swimming pool would not have helped us to keep our head above the water. What is really helping us during the pandemic now is co-creating with our arts community. And so I'd like to share some of the co-creations. So here we have, we keep a history of all our residencies. So our first residency was in spring 2018 with Emily Haas from North Carolina. So then in summer 2019, we had Lina Hermsdorf, visiting artist from the Mahler and Lewitt studios. And this is a great story. So through Lina Hermsdorf, she's a performance artist, we have learned that on the land of Casale Flaminia, we have a sacred forest. So here's a snapshot of
I'm just going to go straight through
Lina's
the whole
work.
script and maybe try and get those variations in. 2,035 years ago, deprived of political rights, they gathered in the forest.
So, going back to our guests, looking to connect deeper with nature, through collaborating with Lina Hermsdorf, we have revived Bonadea, our sacred forest here on our land. And so now we have guests who come to experience the energy of Bonadea. So this is a great example that sometimes it's good not to rush into developing things. Historical buildings, like in my case, jumping the gun, turning them into spa. When in fact now we have art studios, workshops. This is important. It would be very expensive to undo. So rather than rushing into things, it's good to wait. Let the historical building speak to you, let the land sort of find you, and so that naturally things will fall in place. Now, one of the creations co-creating during the pandemic is Scribe Affair with Melissa Felix, who is heading up our writing residencies, the writing craft laid bare. So here we're coaching and mentoring emerging and established writers. You can join a writer circle, a soft place to fall for fellow writers to lean on one another, respecting a simple rule: what happens in the circle stays in the circle. So here we seek encouragement, guidance, and community on the path to successful achieving the writing goals. You can share your writing goals and then join the writer circle. We have the fellowship program. So here we show the program. So we have the artists in residence, the writing faculty, the creative space which we have created, the accommodation catering, the transfer shuttle, which I think is behind my video camera. And what we're looking is to extend the funding, the sponsorship, to also cover material and traveling cost. However, now with the pandemic, we are now counting down 176 days because we had to move the residency to fall 2021. So last year we had 100 applications. We have a committee of advisors, our artists, and then we then select the artists for the next residency, the recipients of the fellowship. Looking at the curating the artworks with Adi Atassi. So it's interesting to see Adi with his work, which he has done for I mean, it's very difficult to keep up with Adi. He's an amazing, prolific artist. But over the years, he has done a lot of work with faces hidden behind masks. So very relevant now during the pandemic. I think we can all recognize ourselves here. And so one of his work, his latest work, is social distancing. So here you can make an offer. 15% of all the proceedings go to the fellowship. Then with smart cities, cityscape is quite interesting here. So here's where Adi is capturing the elements of the cities. So the hidden, the unknown, the mysterious are the key vocabulary of cityscape, the vocabulary of mysterious cities in a contemporary way of expression, composed in my particular language of ink and watercolors. So during the residency, Adi captured the ancient vocabulary of Spoleto. So when it's sold, we recommend similar artwork. Here we have another variation of Spoleto. So now, you know, with the pandemic, the art residencies are also suited for smart working economy and creative people working in solitude until we can all meet again, co-creating, laughing, cooking together. Now, on a final note, during the fall residency, we had Melissa Heckers, who reflected on her experience as a volunteer on the Greek island beaches. And from the perspective of a journalist, Melissa recounted her footsteps as she joined the journey of thousands of refugees seeking safety in Europe. And during the residency, Melissa pushed the boundaries of creative non-fiction, and I, predicted that the book will fly off the shelf. So the book was published in October, and my prediction was correct. Melissa has amazing testimonials, and reading about a woman's journey into the lives of Europe's refugees, it makes you wonder what smart traveling and smart destinations mean to immigrants and inequality of mobility rights. So here at the conference, we can invent phrases, first world invention of smart travel, and then innovate around smart travel. For refugees, they would call it running for your life, holding on to a smartphone, their only lifeline, embarking on a difficult dangerous journey. So this takes us into smart migration. Modern cities are unthinkable without migration. So extending the ideas of smart traveling, okay, the world of migrants, to the world of migrants may be a big stretch at the time when Europe is cultivating the fears rather than our openness. However, Portugal, our host country here for the conference, has shown empathy right at the beginning of the pandemic by granting citizenship to migrants already in Portugal. So how can empathy help nourish the narratives for more legal ways in migration, visa freedoms and safety passages? So yeah, migration is a complex issue for sure. However, maybe collectively our smart travel community can make an important contribution here, diffusing some of the politically charged narratives towards smart migration in 2021 and beyond. So on this note, until we can all meet again in Victor's beautiful city of Braganza, I hope I pronounced this right, Victor. See you soon, bis bald, a presto, a te breve, and stay safe.